What was meant to be a day of celebration has turned into one of profound tragedy here in the heart of the Texas Hill Country. On this 4th of July, 2025, Kerr County is grappling with a catastrophic flooding event of historic proportions. Heavy rainfall, exceeding a foot in some areas overnight, has overwhelmed the Guadalupe River and its tributaries, leading to widespread devastation. This morning, the city of Kerrville's mayor issued a formal disaster declaration, a grim acknowledgement of the immense challenge facing this community. The declaration is more than a formality. It is a plea for state and federal assistance as local resources are stretched to their absolute limit. The most heartbreaking news came early this morning from the Kerr County Sheriff's Office. They have confirmed that the flooding has resulted in fatalities, while officials are not yet releasing the exact number of lives lost out of respect for the families who must be notified first. The confirmation casts a dark shadow over the ongoing emergency response. Each passing hour brings more uncertainty and fear for those with loved ones in the hardest-hit areas, particularly along the riverbanks in and around Hunt. The focus now is twofold: rescuing those still in danger and beginning the somber task of accounting for everyone. The scale of this disaster is difficult to comprehend. The sheer volume of water descended upon the region with shocking speed, transforming roadways into raging rivers and peaceful creeks into destructive torrents. Emergency responders have been working tirelessly since the early morning hours, navigating treacherous conditions to reach stranded residents. The situation remains incredibly fluid and dangerous, with river levels still rising in some locations. The typical sights and sounds of Independence Day, parades and fireworks, have been replaced by the wail of sirens and the thrum of rescue helicopters overhead, a stark reminder of nature's unforgiving power. As the day progresses, the full scope of the damage is slowly coming into view, and it is staggering. Homes have been swept from their foundations, businesses inundated, and critical infrastructure compromised. The annual Fourth on the River celebration, a cornerstone of community life in Kerrville, has been canceled. This decision, while necessary, underscores the severity of the crisis. All attention and all resources are now directed at saving lives, protecting property where possible, and supporting those who have lost everything in the blink of an eye on this holiday morning. The disaster unfolded with terrifying speed in the pre-dawn darkness. At 1:14 a.m., the National Weather Service issued a flash flood warning for Kerr and Bandera counties, a stark alert that heavy rains were creating a life-threatening situation. For many residents asleep in their beds, the warning was just the beginning of a long and terrifying night. The relentless downpour continued to saturate the already soaked ground, funneling immense amounts of water into the Guadalupe River basin. This wasn't just a typical Texas storm. It was a weather event of a different magnitude, setting the stage for the historic flooding to come. By 4:20 a.m., the situation had escalated dramatically. The Guadalupe River at Hunt officially surged into major flood stage, reaching a staggering 24.7 feet. This measurement confirmed the worst fears of emergency managers and meteorologists. The river was not just flooding, it was cresting at a level that threatened homes and lives far beyond its usual banks. Projections from weather models painted an even bleaker picture, forecasting a potential crest of 33.9 feet later in the day. This data triggered urgent evacuation orders for low-lying areas as the river was on a trajectory to shatter previous records and inundate entire neighborhoods. The first desperate calls for help began to flood emergency dispatch centers shortly thereafter. At 5:44 a.m., reports emerged of high-water rescues underway in the Hunt area, a community nestled along the South Fork of the Guadalupe. Residents were reportedly trapped on their rooftops, watching as the churning brown water consumed their homes and everything around them. These scenes, illuminated by the flashing lights of emergency vehicles, marked the transition from a weather event to a full-blown humanitarian crisis. First responders faced immense danger themselves, battling powerful currents and submerged debris to reach those stranded by the rapidly rising waters. The official confirmations of the disaster's severity began to roll in as the sun rose. At 8:30 a.m., the Kerr County Sheriff's Office delivered the grim news of fatalities. Just 13 minutes later, at 8:43 a.m., the mayor of Kerrville formally issued the disaster declaration. By 9:53 a.m., Kerrville police confirmed that evacuations were still ongoing across a wide swath of the county. Each update added another layer to the unfolding tragedy, painting a picture of a community caught in a desperate fight against an unprecedented natural disaster on a day that should have been for celebration. As the crisis deepened, a multi-agency response rapidly mobilized to manage the chaos and provide aid to those affected. State-level authorities quickly stepped in to support the overwhelmed local teams. Acting Governor Dan Patrick issued a statement from the Texas State Emergency Operations Center, confirming a coordinated state response was underway. The highly trained teams from the Texas Division of Emergency Management, or TDEM, were deployed on the ground, bringing specialized equipment and personnel to assist with the complex and dangerous rescue operations. This unified command structure is critical in a large-scale disaster, ensuring resources are allocated effectively to the areas of greatest need. With thousands of residents forced from their homes, providing safe shelter became an immediate priority. Officials quickly established several locations for evacuees. The First United Methodist Church at 321 Thompson Drive in Kerrville opened its doors, as did the historic Arcadia Live Theater downtown, offering a safe haven for displaced families. For those desperately searching for news of their loved ones, a reunification center was set up at Ingram Elementary School, located at 125 Brave Run West in Ingram. These centers are more than just buildings. They are lifelines, providing not only shelter and food, but also a place for the community to come together and begin processing the trauma. Throughout the morning, state leaders amplified the warnings from local officials. Governor Greg Abbott and Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller joined Acting Governor Patrick in issuing urgent pleas to the public. Their messages were clear and consistent: heed all warnings from local emergency management, move to higher ground immediately if in a flood-prone area, and under no circumstances attempt to drive through flooded roadways. The Turnaround Don't Drown campaign has never been more relevant. Officials stressed that the river flooding threat would not subside quickly and was expected to continue, and even worsen in some areas, through the night. The heroic efforts of first responders cannot be overstated. Swiftwater rescue teams from across the region converged on Kerr County, launching boats into turbulent, debris-filled waters to reach stranded individuals. Reports continued to detail harrowing rescues of people trapped in homes, in vehicles, and on rooftops. These brave men and women are working against the clock, navigating a landscape that has been rendered unrecognizable by the floodwaters. Their actions represent the very best of public service, putting their own lives on the line to save others in the face of unimaginable danger and destruction. Even as the rain subsides, the danger is far from over. Officials are issuing stern warnings that the threat of river flooding will persist through the night and into Saturday. The Guadalupe River, along with the nearby Llano and San Saba rivers, which have also reached major flood stages, are carrying an immense volume of water downstream. This means that communities further downriver must remain on high alert for rising water levels. The ground is completely saturated, and any additional rainfall could trigger new flash flooding with little to no warning. Residents are urged to stay informed through local news and emergency alerts. Navigating the area remains extremely hazardous. Numerous low-water crossings and major streets throughout Kerrville and the surrounding county are closed due to high water. Officials are adamant that residents should not attempt to travel unless absolutely necessary. Submerged roads can hide washed-out pavement, debris, or dangerous currents that can sweep a vehicle away in seconds. It is crucial for everyone to respect the barricades and closure signs. They are not suggestions. They are in place to save lives. The focus tonight must be on safety and sheltering in place until authorities deem it safe to move about. For those who have been impacted by this devastating flood, help is available. The primary shelters at the First United Methodist Church and the Arcadia Live Theater in Kerrville remain open for anyone needing a safe place to stay. The Reunification Center at Ingram Elementary School continues to operate, helping families reconnect. As the immediate crisis subsides in the coming days, information on long-term assistance from organizations like the American Red Cross and other disaster relief groups will become available through the Kerr County Emergency Management website and official social media channels. The road to recovery will be long. This 4th of July has been a day of immense loss and destruction for Kerr County. A day that began with the promise of fireworks and fellowship ended in a fight for survival against the forces of nature. Yet, even in this darkest hour, the strength of the Texas Hill Country community is beginning to shine through. Neighbors are helping neighbors, and volunteers are already stepping up to support the shelters and first responders. The spirit of this community, though tested by tragedy, will be the most critical resource in the difficult days and weeks of recovery that lie ahead.